Glock.
I just bought a gun.
Yeah, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
You probably found it by now.
Probably. I was taking it somewhere.
These are just a few photos. And I want to be careful not showing you certain photos
Please
because
don't
some
show
of
me.
them are very bad. That's obviously Travis's house, right? Remember that?
Yeah. If Travis were here today, he would tell you that it wasn't me.
No. My job is to speak for Travis right now, and everything Travis is telling me is that Jodi did this to me. Have you ever shot that 25 auto?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever touched it?
The one that was stolen? I've never seen it. Like your grandpa said, it looks like a toy gun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what a 25 looks like. I know what a 22 looks like. And I know
It's
what,
just like a 22 actually.
well, the 22s that I saw kind of looked like the ones in the westerns where they had the barrel and the long, you know. But there was another 22 in this store that looked like a toy gun, so it looked like a squirt gun, like a water gun. I don't know.
I don't even know which pictures to show you. Look at that one. Remember him?
Is he naked? In the shower?
Yep. Let's see is this is
Travis would never go for that.
soon after you and him had sex on his bed.
That couldn't have been too soon after.
An hour or so.
The last time
2
we had sex in
hours.
his bed was an 8.
This didn't come out very good. Is there copies of actual photos? That's you. I wanted to cover you up because
Oh,
that's you. All of you.
that looks like me.
That is you. A mole right there you have on your face. You can look at the rest of it if you want. There's a few of those. There's a few more. Which I try not to show people because I don't want to put you out there like that to people. Let's just say I've seen all of you. And I've seen all of Travis. But the one that sticks in my mind of Travis is on the autopsy table. And I'm not going to show you that. Or should I? But this one I don't know if I should show you, but nothing bad. Too bad. But it's just one of the photos that was taken by accident. And this is just a small portion of it. It's your foot, Jodi. Those are your pants. No, it's off color because we had to enhance it and the color kind of changes a little bit. That's Travis.
This is his bathroom. That is not my foot.
These are your pants. It's a different color, like I said, because we had to enhance it and the color changes. The zipper back.
I have both of those pants at home. If these are the same one. I don't have a zipper there though. Not on mine. And this is a black stripe and this is white and the black goes around the bottom too.
Couldn't even recognize Travis. He'd been there so long.
I keep thinking of Brother Hyatt when I address him.
This is another one. It's just a copy, but it's you. Same day. All time stamped. All everything. First picture here. Travis. Let's see. The date. 6/4/08 at 5:22 p.m. That's when it started. Photo of you started, in Travis's bedroom, about 1:30, 1:45, something like
Yeah.
that.
I don't know what kind of camera he got.
There, see that?
That spot?
See the spots here? They look a different color because we used a chemical to enhance this. That right there is blood. It's a mixture of yours and his. And that's your palm print. Of your left palm.
I don't have any cuts on my left palm.
Nobody said that your cut was on palm. Do you have any recent cuts that are healing?
Well, my cat scratches me. Little things. These are all her work. You can see. This is her. That's her. I've got scars. She's a feral cat. All these little things are her.
Well, enough about your cat, but why is your palm print in blood?
How can that be my palm print?
Because you were there.
What is this?
That's before we used the chemical. We thought we'd get something from there, but this is where your palm print was. Right on the wall. I can go over and over and over again. Over and over again. There's no doubt in my mind that you were there. There's no doubt in my mind that you did this. None. So you can go until you're blue in the face and tell me you weren't there and you had nothing to do with it. I won't believe you. I will not believe you. Because Travis is telling me that you did this to him. That's my job. My job is to speak for him. And this is what he's telling me. And I want to know why. It's killing me inside. I don't know why.
Like, there's no reason for it. There's no reason why. There's no reason I would ever want to hurt him.
There's no way anybody else.
He never raped me.
Nobody.
Never.
There's no way anyone else could have left your palm print in blood on that wall. No way. Get that through your head.
If I was going to ever try to kill somebody, I would use gloves. I've got plenty of them.
Nobody said you were, you had planned this out perfectly. Maybe you were going there to just talk to him, have a good time with him. Something got out of hand.
Even if I were there, and even if I were going there to just have a good time with him.
What if I tell you somebody saw you there? remember some of the neighbors?
Just
Who know
Dave.
you? The next door neighbor?
Mhm.
And his wife?
Mhm. I don't know his wife.
Okay. What about some of the neighbors across the street?
No, I've never met them.
No. But you've hung around there quite a bit and they know you.
Mhm.
Yeah, they've seen you there on that day.
I wasn't there that day.
Jodi, you were there that day.
And even if I'm trying to think, the majority of the time that I spent there, I had platinum blonde hair. So I mean, and I've never once said hi to them, met them, shook their hand, met them face to face, crossed the street. When I spent time there, he wanted to keep it private, so it was, I spent the majority of my time inside. Not, walking around outside. Except for a few times when I took his dog for a walk.
Would they see your car there? Or would you park it down the street?
No, they would see it there. I drove an Infiniti. So they would definitely recognize the car, I'm sure. Well, there are a lot of cars there a lot of the time.
Where's the Infiniti now?
Just, I gave it back to the bank.
To the impound yard somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna find any evidence in that car?
You're free to look.
We're gonna look.
You can also look in the rental car.
What company did you rent it from?
I don't remember, but I can check my my debit card record. I remember the make and model.
No, we're waiting for it anyway, but you know all the new cars have GPSs in them.
Oh.
Factory. Not for you to
Well, then that's
use,
good.
but for us to use if we need to.
Well, then that's good, because I was also going to ask you, I don't know if this is something that you can recall, but a lot of the stoplights in Mesa and things have cameras on them. Is there any way we could back that up? Or, if I were going to Phoenix, going through that tunnel, is that surveillance?
No.
Is there surveillance anywhere?
Unless you ran a red line. Unless you got caught on a speed camera. But nothing beats that stuff. And I have a solid case against you. And I can present it to the judge. As cold as it is now. I don't know why she did it. Or I can present it to the judge with your explanation. With your parents' explanation.
What do you mean?
Have
by
you talked to your
parents?
parents about what happened?
I told them I was worried about stuff.
About what stuff?
I said that, well, they knew I was upset about Travis, and I feel really bad by the way I was acting, because there wasn't, especially toward my grandparents, there were a lot of times.
Why are they not surprised that you're sitting here talking to me about this?
What do you mean?
They're not surprised. They're
Probably just-
concerned. They're
Have you talked to them?
hurt. I haven't, but my other detectives have. And they're very concerned with you. But they kind of suspected that you had something to do with Travis's death as well. Whose
No.
parents think
No.
that?
That's because I told them that a lot of people were dropping my name, and I said I'm not worried about it because I didn't do it. I said, but it's hurting my reputation right now, and it's casting me in a bad light.
I wouldn't be worrying about your reputation right now. I'd be worrying about the rest of your life. That means nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Well, my reputation will affect the rest of my life, so I am worried about my reputation.
You gonna continue with the story then that you weren't in Mesa on the 4th, you weren't in Travis's house, you didn't have sex with him that day, and you had nothing to do with his murder?
Those pictures are, I don't know, to me pictures are very compelling. I know that they can be modified, I know they can be altered, and date and time stamps, I don't know, but I think they can be
I
tampered
didn't
with.
modify anything.
I don't think you would.
We take absolutely special care of what we do.
I know.
We actually take an image of that card, or let's say you get a computer, take an image of that hard drive and make a copy of it. We don't even touch your hard drive. We just work with the copy. And that's exactly what we do with the photos. We don't work with the originals. We just make an exact digital copy of everything, move it over so we don't touch it, and then we analyze it. And our guys are so good. Every case they've ever done that I know of has never been lost in court. It's been argued and argued and argued. There's no way that they duplicate or that they enhance or that they change or that they do anything to a photo.
If I'm found
That's not
guilty, what
true.
happens?
They don't have to pay the price.
Well, what's the price?
I don't know.
Don't you know what the sentences are? The sentences that are carried for something.
It
a crime like
depends
that?
on your situation, how old you are, depends on the type of crime. It depends on whether you show remorse or not. And part of that remorse is at least coming clean. When somebody doesn't come clean, I don't see any remorse. I don't know if a judge would see any remorse. I don't know if a jury would see any remorse. But I don't know. That's not for me to decide. My job is to investigate, find out who did it, why they did it, and present it to a court. And that's it.
I just can't imagine.
You have something to tell me, but you're just so resistant. I know you're afraid, but you're already going through it right now. There's no backing up. There's no backing up to yesterday. There's no backing up to that day. It already happened. And unfortunately, you're gonna have to face the consequences.
If I did that, I'd be fully ready to face the consequences. I'm not really for things like, I'm all for the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not kill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But
There's no evidence to show anybody else did that. None.
well, I'm just.
You think we'd find somebody else's fingerprint if they did that? Possibly. There's something that happens. You keep saying gloves. There's things that happen when people wear gloves. Then we can actually see that, well, somebody wore gloves in this case. Nobody wore gloves in this case. Nobody. There's no evidence
I'm
of
just
it.
saying that if I were to carry out something like that, I would have worn gloves. I bought a whole box of them.
Nobody else did this. There's no evidence to show that anybody else did this but you. You were the only one. That is it. And I'm not seeing any remorse. I'm not seeing anything from you to make me believe anything otherwise. You can continue to say, I didn't do it.
Well,
But you're the kid that got caught on videotape stealing the candy. And you continue to say, it wasn't me. I have the proof. I have the pictures. It wasn't me. I don't think you would admit to it if your own mother saw you do this and she told me, yeah, I saw her do this. You would say, no, it wasn't me. Why won't you admit to it?
I just can't. I didn't kill Travis. I just didn't. I did not take his life.
Did you have anything to do with the death of Travis?
I don't think I had anything directly to do with it, but I feel responsible somewhat for it.
Then what can you tell me about his death?
You know a lot more about it than I do. When I say I feel responsible, it's because I wasn't planning to go there at all, and he really wanted me to go. And I told him no, and I would have if it weren't for Ryan. And there's nothing really with Ryan and I. In fact, he has been very hesitant to move anything forward because he's not sure about me. He said a lot of people are talking. I'll just tell you that right now. I really wish this would get solved so that we can just put it behind us. Maybe that's a good thing because he's not an active church member anyway. But The reason I feel is because if it weren't for Ryan, I would have folded and I would have just scrapped all my plans and spent all of my days there. But I didn't, and I stood strong, and he got mad and got sad, and he guilted me. He didn't get really mad, he just kind of guilted me. And finally he was like, whatever, fine, and we hung up. I feel that if I would have gone there, that I could have done something. I could have.
But you were there, Jodi. You were there on Wednesday before.
Can I ask you, I don't know if you know this. Oh, I have a camera in my storage unit that I don't use anymore, but that Travis and I used to use frequently. And we took pictures with it. This is, I don't know. This is kind of.
Do you remember taking these pictures?
There were many pictures. Vaguely. We took tons and tons of pictures. Some I saved, most we deleted. Some he sent me through his phone. And
He usually deleted all pictures like this.
Yeah, well, before he got there.
Any pictures like this that I found anywhere on his computer, camera, anything, they were deleted.
Well, prior to him getting his camera, all those pictures were on my camera. So
all these same pictures?
I don't know. We took a bunch the week before I left. We took a bunch over the last 6 or 7 months. We took over last year even when we were still dating, but we would delete them mostly. There were some that he sent me that I didn't delete. What I'm asking is it possible that, that my memory card would have been in his camera if they're interchangeable?
How do you know if they're interchangeable?
I don't know, that's what I'm asking is what kind of memory card it was.
Just a regular little SD card?
Well, because I've got one that's like this big, and it's thin. It's like a cracker. And the one I use on my professional camera is like this size, and it's more kind of like that big. And the little one is really thin, and it's got like little thingies here for reading it, and my big one looks like that on the middle part. So that one obviously probably wouldn't be interchangeable because it's a Canon and it's a nice camera.
It's not interchangeable, it is.
But the other one, I don't know.
Your camera's here, his camera's there. He just bought that camera.
Well, the other camera that I used before that's broken now, it's in my storage unit, but it's still there.
And you're saying those pictures are on that camera?
No, what I'm saying is I had several memory cards for this camera that I don't have anymore. And so I guess it's so far-fetched, but I guess it's possible that my card.
You're saying somebody took your pictures or your card and is framing you and put that into his camera?
I'm just saying that if my memory cards were left at his house, he would have used those for his camera. I don't know. I can explain the blood though, and I can explain the hair. I don't know about the front.
I can't explain the blood or the hair.
Well, the hair, there's hair everywhere, and probably every square inch of that house. My hair.
Yeah.
If you sweep it, you'll get hair everywhere. All over around the toilet, around in the shower. I don't know about the shower because the shower gets used, but definitely around the bottom of the sink area. And maybe on the
Still
trash.
doesn't explain the hair to me. It had a follicle in it. You haven't been there since April. There's no way. No way. The blood? No.
Well, the
Blood is mixed with his, and that's the blood that he bled that day when he was killed.
well,
Print?
I don't know
Absolutely
if you can
not.
check how fresh the blood was.
No, we can't check how fresh it is, but we can go by where it is.
Oh, okay, because I cut myself when I was.
And you're saying that blood that you cut yourself with back who knows when,
Well,
was still on the wall in the exact same spot
Oh, I don't know.
where the bloody palm print was.
It was a glass that Travis had that I was using to wash Napoleon with. I used to give him baths. And I dropped it. And when I picked up all the glass, and I'm pretty casual about it because I break glass at work all the time. And it's not a big deal. It's nothing to be scared of. And I was probably just being careless with it. And I sliced myself open and...
Is that how you want to leave this? Just these far-fetched excuses on why your blood is there, why your hair is there, why your palm print is there, what pictures are there.
I don't know about the pictures.
That's how you want to leave this? I wouldn't want to. I seriously would not want to. You need to come out and tell me why this happened. I will not accept any other excuses. I will just move on with my investigation, with my final report, submitting all the conclusions and all the evidence. And we can just let a judge and a jury decide. You yourself said that if you were in my shoes, you would think that I was guilty. We can leave it in the hands of a jury.
What about a lie detector test?
We can do that, that's fine.
Would that help me at all?
I mean, you can't use them in court, but...
Well, then there's no point in taking it. I thought those things can be used.
In certain cases.
In this case,
If you want, I can check. Absolutely.
if I passed a lie detector test, would that help me at all?
Could help you.
They're so weird anyway. Travis,
This is your one opportunity to talk to me because it's going to be a while before I talk to you again. And it's not going to be in this kind of setting. Okay. Do you understand what's going to happen to you? Well, we're going to, since these charges are out of Arizona, we're going to send you through the court system here. And then we're going to ask to extradite you to Arizona from California. That just means permission for you to bring you over because you're out of state limits. And the next time we talk could be in a whole different setting. Could be in a jail somewhere. I think this setting is a little bit better. But it's up to you. Jodi, I know you were there. I know that Travis was either in the shower or just outside the shower when he was shot. And I know somebody who was extremely angry at him took a knife to him and couldn't stop. Couldn't stop. And before you knew it, it was all over. And then you panicked. And then...
I've never been that angry at him. Not enough for that. I've been so far angrier at other people, at other ex-boyfriends.
Then tell me who could have done this. Who did this?
I don't know, but if I go to trial for this, and if I'm convicted for this, whoever did this is going to be sitting very pretty somewhere. Glad that it wasn't them.
And it's my job to make sure that an innocent person does not go to jail. But I don't see an innocent person sitting in front of me. When I asked you, I always ask this one question. Actually, it's two. First one is, did you kill Travis? And you kind of hesitated a little bit and said, I didn't have anything to do with it. Then I asked you a similar question. Did you have anything to do with Travis's death? You hesitated again.
Well, that's because I feel like if I had gone to Arizona like you
Most
asked,
people would say, no. Did you kill Travis? No.
Well, I didn't, and I didn't have anything to do with it. Now, do I feel responsible? I've been carrying around guilt since I heard about it.
Why do you feel responsible? If you felt responsible, it means you know something else.
No, because
It means your actions led to his death.
Because he always has guilted me. He's always guilted me. And The last
So you
time
feel
we
somebody
talked-
else? You feel somebody else killed him?
Well, yeah.
For what reason?
I don't know. I don't know
Then
that.
how do you feel guilty if you
Because
don't know the reason?
here's why I feel guilty. One of the last times we spoke, he was guilting me about not coming to see him, and part of my heart still wanted to go see him, and another part just wants to move on and pursue this new avenue, which was in Utah. And there is a tinge of guilt, you know, when he would text me and he would say, "Hey, you want to come over and make out, or want to da da da." I didn't respond one night, and I just stayed strong, and I didn't respond. And then he called and called and called, and then the next day he was like, "You don't care about me. You don't love me. You don't care. I was there all alone, and you didn't want to come and hang out. You didn't want to come and keep me company." And he says it not like that, but in that tone, but it's in the sweetest, sweetest way. And it's guilt.
I still don't get the guilt. I really don't. You keep explaining it, but it has nothing to do with whether he
Because he guilted
was
me.
killed or not. How is you being there going to prevent him from being killed?
Well, I kind of feel that if I had gone, that we could have been out watching a movie, or we could have, two people could have done something more than just him. I just feel like if there was some way that I could have prevented it, there's some way that I could have done something to stop it. And I told that to a few people, and they're like, "Well, you might have been killed too." Maybe, but maybe Travis would still be alive. Travis has done a lot for me, and I wouldn't hurt him. He introduced the gospel to me.
Well, I have proof that says otherwise, Jodi. I can't deny that. I can't deny that proof. And that proof is not pointing at anybody else. Nobody. Nobody in this entire world except you. Nobody else was in that house that day. Except you. You were the only one. You and him, alone.
I didn't even go to Mesa. Can you check the GPS in the car?
Yes, we will check that.
If it's, you know, and if that comes back,
and I've looked at the map, and the way that you're saying you travel, there is no way.
When the last road trip Travis and I went on, we drove to Utah. We drove to Oklahoma City from Mesa, and one of our stops on the way was Roswell. He drove all night, and I slept. And then after Roswell Museum, it was my turn to drive. And he's like, "Just get on this and drive 98 point something miles, and then we should be there." So I got on the road, and I drove 98.6 or 2 or whatever miles it was. And I woke him up, and I said, "I don't think we're here." And he woke up and looked around, and it was just like rolling fields forever. And I drove completely in the wrong direction. And I'm not saying, I don't know, I'm just saying I have a poor sense of direction. I got totally lost. I know maybe that's just bad luck. I got totally lost.
So even if you got totally lost, it doesn't explain all that time. It does not. I mean, if you went 4 hours here, 5 hours in the wrong direction, it still would not explain
at one point
that
I
time.
wasn't going anywhere because I ran out of gas. I was totally stranded. I was sitting like a sitting duck, and that's when I began. It was a little bit warm, and it wasn't too hot, but that's when I read for a little bit. I already slept, and that's when I just started looking around the car and organizing stuff and getting trash together, and had a couple bites to eat from snacks that I had. And when I was cleaning out under the seat, I found my phone charger, plugged it in, powered it on. There was no cell phone reception anywhere.
So you've never seen his camera? His new camera?
I don't know. He described it.
Did you ever touch his camera?
I've never seen it.
Okay, so there's no reason your fingerprint should be on it.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Because that thing's off at a lab right now. And they're hopeful that they can get some prints off the camera.
Okay.
And if your prints come back on that camera, what are you going to say?
Well, they won't come back on it because I've never touched it.
That you still can't explain the rest of this stuff.
I honestly can't explain the pictures. The other stuff, or the palm print, the other stuff I can explain.
No, you can't explain the blood either. Because that blood is in blood. I mean, it's part of the print. Unless you cut yourself at the beginning of the year and left your palm print in blood, and it stayed there until he was killed.
I cut myself. It wasn't the beginning of the year. It was before convention.
No, you can't explain it.
I'd have to say early March.
That palm print is there in blood, partially yours and partially his.
Is it possible that there's just like any other way in the universe that could have gotten there?
Possible. Probable is the question you need to ask, and probable is absolutely not probable.
I understand that, but it is possible.
Anything is possible.
That is very compelling.
That's why I'm here. That's why I traveled here. Because I came here to arrest you. And get an explanation from you. That's the second reason. And since you're not giving me an explanation, I guess we'll just continue with the
I just have no reason to hurt Travis.
You do have a reason to hurt Travis.
What would my reason possibly be?
There's a whole history of you two.
But
and everybody knows it.
I have a whole history with other guys that
Why
go back years.
is everybody saying that you had something to do with his death? Why is everybody saying that you were capable of hurting him? Everybody says it.
I don't know why anyone.
So don't tell me that you're not capable.
I don't even hurt spiders.
Have you ever had any anger issues before? Never in your past?
I've had arguments.
Well, everybody has arguments. I'm talking about anger. Just absolute anger. Where you lose it sometimes.
No, I had a nervous breakdown once.
You taking any medication or anything? Nothing.
Well, I had a nervous breakdown when a boyfriend and I were arguing once, and he began to argue with me in a way that was totally different from how we had ever argued before. And he was just like, every time I'd say something, he was like, blah, blah, you know. It was kind of weird. Like every time I tried to formulate a thought, and I was just sad and I was crying. Every time I tried to formulate a thought, he would interject and twist it, and it was like the weirdest psychological thing that had ever happened. And the way I reacted was I went into my room. He was the guy I bought a house with. I went into my room and shut the door. We had separate bedrooms, and I was in his room and went down the hall into my room and shut the door. And I just remember hyperventilating, and that's all. And I was crying. And then I went to get something out of my car, and when he saw that, he maybe thought I was going to leave, so he asked me for the key to his truck and pulled behind my car because he thought that because I was upset I shouldn't drive anywhere. But I mean, that's, other than arguments, no anger issues. That I can remember. Oh, I kicked a dog once. I was a freshman in high school, and I love animals. And we had this dog, his name was Doggy Boy, and my parents, until this dog that they have now, have never been able to, and I don't mean just them, we as a family have never been able to care for a dog properly as far as give it attention and take it for walks and be consistent. So this dog stayed in the backyard a lot, and he stayed tied up on, in the shade with plenty of, leeway. At one point though, he was untied, and I took the trash out, and this is when my little brother and sister were still in diapers, and he tore this, it was a diaper trash, and he tore diapers all over the yard. And of course I had to clean it up, and when diapers get wet, and they're like this jelly, spongy, weird stuff, and I got mad, and I just kicked him with my right foot, and he just moved a few feet, and he didn't yelp or anything, but he ran away, and I never saw him again after that. And I mean, that's probably an anger issue, I guess. But
well, one time kicking a dog is not an anger issue.
It changed my world as far as animal treatment goes, because I've never seen him since. And I need to apologize for that to him. I know it sounds weird, my relationship with animals. It's kind of like they're like people too, you know, they have souls.
What you need to do is you need to apologize to Travis. But you just refuse.
Listen,
I can't help you anymore if you're not gonna help yourself.
you asked
I
me
really
prior.
can't. I can't, Jodi. You can keep talking till you're blue in the face, and I can't continue to listen to lies. Do you have anything else that you need to tell me?
Yeah, you had asked me what have I been up to in the weeks since I got back.
Mm-hmm.
What did you mean by that?
Just what have you been up to? Because I know this thing has to be weighing pretty heavy on you.
I've been trying to put his death behind me. If I did anything that had anything to do with his death in any way,
It's not if to me.
I wouldn't.
It's not if. It's not if at all.
Well, to me it is. I would be more than remorseful.
Is it maybe something you're blocking out of your head?
I don't think so. I mean, I tend to write everything down. I just finished the book, The Road Less Traveled,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, the true definition of sanity is dedication to reality at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at times, you know, I may have, you know, prayed or meditated upon a certain way, you know, like me being wealthy or something like that, but
Well, this is definitely reality. We are sitting here inside of an office, the sheriff's department, and you are facing first-degree murder charges.
what is the
And you
difference?
are going to be booked into jail, and eventually you will be brought back to Arizona, and you will stand trial. That's the reality. And once you realize that, I think you'll be better for it. And if you really wanted to embrace reality, you would sit here and explain to me why this happened. But you refuse. You refuse to embrace reality.
I don't know why he was killed. I don't know why. I had issues with Travis. If anything, he had more issues with me. I've had worse issues with other people. They're all still alive. I'm still friends with my ex-boyfriends. They're all still alive.
You know, I've been doing this a long time. And there's one thing that I can never get out of my head. Ever since the first day I talked to you. There's an old saying that, you know, someone's just not acting right. Look into it. You have not acted right from day one. From day one when I talked to you on that phone, I just sensed that you weren't acting like somebody who used to love this guy, or who still loved him, even as a close friend. And even now, when I told you that I have all this evidence against you, and that you're facing first-degree murder charges, you're just not acting right, Jodi. You're acting like somebody who's guilty.
How so?
You tell me. I know because I've been doing it a long time. It's
It's
taken
not
me a
that I
long
don't.
time to figure it out. But within the first 30 seconds to a minute of a conversation, I know when somebody's acting right. There's a certain way people act.
How did I act
Okay,
that would
it's
make
not
you
like-
think?
It's not like TV, it's not anything like that. It's not what you see in the movies. I see reality. When I accuse somebody of committing a heinous crime, or, you know, something very serious, reality hits in, and they definitely act a certain way. And that's not you. You act just like everybody else who I accuse of doing a crime, who did it. And there's no other way to tell you.
Is it because I'm not crying?
No. It's not because of that.
What is it? I mean, I'm not going to change how I act.
No,
so
obviously
just
you can't
make-
change the way you're
No,
acting.
I mean, I am who I am.
Okay,
but-
you're sincere in the way you're acting. But
Well, how is
You're just not telling the truth.
How is it different?
Well, it's not really something you need to focus on anymore. I think you need to focus on the truth, but it's something that you refuse. So if you don't want to continue, then we'll just move on to the next step.
Listen, it's not that I didn't love Travis, and it's not that I don't still love him, but I really needed to move on.
Mm-hmm.
And the last...
What prevented you from moving on? Nobody was preventing you from moving on.
Well, the only person preventing me really from moving on was myself.
Mm-hmm.
And until I made that step and I moved back, moved away, and we communicated gradually less and less and less, and I was fine with that. I haven't found the guy, the man that I want to marry, the person I want to spend my life with. But in my mind, Travis did, and I was happy for him, and I thought there was also a part of me that felt, if I stay, I'm going to jeopardize that for him as well. We both deserve to be happy. We both deserve to have, be married in the temple.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he wanted to go. So, I mean, I didn't know that Mimi didn't feel that way. I had never spoken to her except at church when I came down to Arizona. It was really brief. And it was the bishop who told me that, she had essentially turned him down. And the last few, now that I think about it, he was really just in his attitude and stuff. And I just thought maybe that's just because we're just beginning to more distance ourselves. And he still had his trip planned to come up here. The reason I don't know. It's not that I'm not remorseful that he died. I didn't kill him. I didn't take his life.
Did you have anything to do with it?
I had nothing to do with his death at all. At all. The reason I hesitate is because, maybe this is something that's wrong with me psychologically, is I think of the butterfly effect. And it's like, you could say that the guy pumping gas down at the gas station could have potentially, because you see all these movies, these funky movies, where it's like this affected this, which affected this, which affected this, if he had never done this.
I know if you had never met him, he'd probably still be alive.
That's true.
Yeah, but that's because you killed him.
No.
Jodi, you did.
I did not.
Jodi, you can't convince me otherwise, unless you come up with more proof that you didn't. But I can't prove that anybody else did. No, it couldn't have.
Well, what about if the car comes back that it was never even in that area?
It still doesn't negate the fact that we have this other evidence here. I mean, this is absolutely some of the best evidence I've ever had in a case. And I've convicted a few people on less than this.
Well, so I'm as good as done, right? With that evidence. I just can't admit to something that I didn't do. If it would help my case and give me an easier sentence, I know that people plead guilty for those things.
No, and I don't want you to do that. That is the absolute last thing I want.
Well, I know
what I want to do is I want to sit here with you, and I want to go over why you visited him that day, what you guys talked about, what caused you to get so angry, and the details on how it happened. And it's something that you probably don't want to remember, but it's something that I need, because for me to finish a case completely, I need to know not just the details, but what was going through your mind, because I need to present that as a full picture. Because if I don't feel that I've completed my job. Then my job is to speak for him, not anybody else. My job isn't to speak for you. My job isn't to speak for his family. It's to speak for Travis. And I know something horrible happened that day. Absolutely horrible. something that could have been avoided. Whether something was planned, I don't know. Whether you planned it or whether it accidentally happened or something got out of hand, I don't know. All I can do is speculate. And I want to believe that you're not this cold-hearted person that could just go out and do something like this to somebody. I want to believe that, like a lot of people, things got out of control, and before you knew it, it was too late. That's what I want to believe. And that's truly from my heart. Because I sit here and I've talked to you, and I'm talking to you now, and all those conversations we had on the phone, and I don't see a cold-hearted murderer like you would see on TV or that I've seen before sit across from me. That's not what I see in you. And I'm gonna call it begging. I'm begging you to at least come clean and tell me why. Because I don't want to leave here today not knowing, because it's gonna follow me forever.
I wish that I had answers. I'm sorry.
You need to just let the answers come out.
There's just no reason. There's just no reason.
There's no good reason why this happened. There's never a good reason why somebody dies like this.
How many times was Travis stabbed?
More than I want to remember. And I'm not going to sit here and show you pictures of him after the fact. I don't do that. That's not how I work. That is not for me to do. But eventually those photos will come out. Jodi. Jodi, we're here now. We're right here. I think you're feeling the reality in the moment now.
No, I'm just feeling all of the things that I'm going to potentially miss out on with my family, and I think of all the things that Travis's family is going to miss out on with Travis. And he had brothers and sisters, and I have brothers and sisters. And it's not fair.
It's not fair, but this is where we are.
I mean, I know that he's in a good place, and I know that he's fine. I know that he's doing great. But what about all of his friends, all of his family that are here, and they're just going through all of this, and I know that it's temporary, but it's so very much right now. There's just no reason I would ever want to hurt him.
Well, whether you wanted to is a different question.
I'm just saying.
I don't think you wanted to. I really don't think you wanted to. But this speaks for itself. It speaks for itself, Jodi. It goes beyond speculation. This is way beyond speculation. This is downright proof. But there's no backstory to it. All I know is that I need a story, or else it's just cold. It's so cold. you don't look like the person that would plan something like this. You're just not that person. I can believe other things, but not that. But without the truth, I can't paint another picture. And it's going to be up to the prosecutor to paint that picture. And if you want that prosecutor, and I've met him, and you don't want him painting that picture, because he is good at what he does. I've worked with him before. And you allow him to paint that picture for you, it's not going to be good.
It looks like you don't really need anything. It just looks like, I mean, it looks like you don't even need a good prosecutor anyway. So, I mean,
you're right.
I have to maintain my innocence. I can't admit to doing something that I haven't done. Part of me wants to cop out and say it.
No.
Well,
if you're gonna cop out, it's because you're telling the truth.
Well, that's not really copping out.
Yeah, I don't want you to sit here and tell me a lie to appease me. That is the worst thing you can do for me. But back there in that mind of yours is somebody screaming to get out and tell me what happened, but you just cannot.
He has done nothing but, I mean, except for some mean words that he said.
I know.
People have said worse to me, or just as bad. Except for that, he's helped me, he's given me money, he was selling me his car on the
Then why?
easiest,
Then why,
lamest
Jodi,
terms
why?
ever. There's no reason why.
It just happens.
There's just no
Well, I
reason.
have more work to do.
Can you give me a rundown of what's going to happen from here when you leave?
Yeah, you're,
Like, just today, for example.
well, you'll probably be taken across the street to the county jail. You'll be processed through there. You'll be set in front of a judge, at least within 24 hours. And there's a warrant for your arrest, and the bond is $2 million. If you can come up with a $2 million bond, then the judge will decide whether to, accept that $2 million or not. At that point, we're gonna file extradition papers. Basically, our courts are saying that, hey, you have someone in custody on one of our charges. We want them brought back to Arizona, or at least allow us to come pick them up. And that's called an extradition hearing. You will be given the opportunity to either waive it and say, that's fine, I'll just go on my own free will, or you can fight it and say, no, I don't want to go back to Arizona.
What if I say I go on my own free will? Of course I would go.
Yeah. At that point, the judge would say, okay, she's not fighting this, so come get her. And then we would go.
What if I did fight it? Then what happens?
Then you would have a hearing,
Oh.
like a little trial.
So it just
Not a
delays the
trial.
inevitable, basically.
It delays it.
And costs people, taxpayers money.
And then you'll be transferred over to the Maricopa County Jail in Phoenix. And you will start your court proceedings there.
And,
I've already filed these charges. It went to a grand jury, and a grand jury indicted you.
So it's all public now?
It's public record.
So does everyone know?
If somebody goes on, checks public record, they can check it. And they would come up with an indictment against you for murder.
But it's going to be on the news tonight.
We don't report anything to the news.
Has his family called today?
No. They don't even know that I'm talking to you.
But they've been calling every day.
Every day.
Are you going to tell
I
them?
talk to them every day. How would you feel if your little brother or little sister was killed?
I've been wanting to call every day too. I didn't want to look obsessive. So I just tried to limit it to once a week. Will I be able to see my family before it comes?
I don't know.
Can
I don't know
talk
what
to
I
my
don't know
mom?
what their procedures are here at this jail in this county.
Can I talk to somebody about my affairs that need to be taken care of?
You'll have to do it over the phone, or they'll have to come visit you. I don't know.
I'd have to be over the phone because the person that would take care of my stuff lives far away.
Are we done?
How long is it all going to take? You said you already
I
filed
don't know.
paperwork.
I don't know. I need to go see. The procedures are different here in California than they are in Arizona. I'm used to the procedures in Arizona. So I'm getting help from this county and the deputies here, and they're assisting me. So I need to get with them and find out how long it's going to take.
This is a really trivial question, and it's going to reveal how shallow I am. But before they book me, can I clean myself up a little bit?
You're going to be taken the way you are. I can't give you anything else.
How soon?
I don't know.
Like 5 minutes? 2
I would
hours?
say within an hour. Okay, it could be 5 minutes, it could be 50 minutes. I need to go talk to my associates here. And if at any time you feel like you need to tell me something, you just go ahead and approach me. Okay.
Can I use the bathroom?
Yeah, I'll get someone to come take you.
You know, I'm not like violent and we're gonna run. It's Myrika. So, I mean, do I have to go in handcuffs everywhere? It's just procedure.
Whether you wrote a bad check or you're facing murder charges, you're gonna go in handcuffs. That's just the way it is. Okay? We don't take, different precautions for different people. It's the same for everybody. So I'm sorry.
Who do I ask when I can start making a phone call or two?
Once you get booked into the jail.
Do you know how many I get?
If it's like ours, they give you a phone and you can make as many collect calls as you want.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Let me see if there's somebody to take you to the restroom.
It's not too urgent, but like maybe within the next 10 minutes I really will need to go. At least done your makeup, Jodi. Gosh. I didn't hear you breathe. I wonder how am I still here? And I don't wanna lose a thing. It might change my memory, and I won't go, and I can't breathe until you're resting here with me, and I won't go, and I can't hide, and I won't leave. Breathe until you're resting here with me. I didn't hear you breathe. Goodness. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. This is the day of our dear Savior's birth. knows our needs. In the angel voices, oh night divine, oh night when Christ was born, oh night. Still beating. Burn. Here's your shoes. Why don't you go ahead and put those on? Go ahead and stop right there and just turn around. Your hands behind your back.
She already did that.
Yeah, I researched her.
Okay. Okay.
Is there any reason for me to walk over there with you?
Yeah. That's fine. Okay. Anything else? No. You know, we just have to work over it.